You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Larkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me for a round two, it has been a while, and it's a pleasure to have this gentleman on the show. He is pro wrestler and my dear friend, Mr. Remy Marcel. How are you, Remy?
Good, Mike. How's it going, brother?
I cannot complain, man. It's funny because the last time Remy and I were talking, and I can't believe it's surpassed 4 years now, was actually LFC 35 Booty Camp 3D, our Halloween show that you were the ref for, I was the ring announcer for. 4 years goes by, my friend.
You would say, right?
I would say.
And it's crazy to think of that I've been kind of like silently around LFC for that long. That's kind of wild, right? Because like the referee gig was like my very first like real gig, right? I was a coach when they first did it, like a long, long time ago. Me and Sean would talk about it, but like like really that referee gig was like my very first like because it was the first time I got to coach with the girls, really kind of get into what Sean was trying to do with them, and then obviously the referee kind of fell into my lap too, which I kind of enjoyed, but I thought it was always kind of weird to have like a dude ref for the ladies, but I don't know how that audience goes with all that. I do enjoy the one that they use now. I can't remember. She used to fight for LFC. I can't remember her name. Petite, blonde, shortcut, kind of athletic build. I can't remember her name, but she's like she was the referee on this last one that I saw.
Yeah, man, I know. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Terry London. Terry fights Terry London.
Yes, right. I just couldn't remember her first name. I remember it was like a city.
I remember it was like a city. All right, fair enough, fair enough. But no, Terry Feisty Fist London, LFC fighter, LFC referee, really adds a lot to the presentation of LFC.
Yeah, she kills it. She kills it. Like I really feel like if you were gonna grab another ref or some sort of ref, I mean, I know there's been a plethora of referees that gone kind of done their thing, but she kills it. So.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, for you, like, we got to see you really train a lot of the girls, not just for this one, but definitely one I have to bring up. If y'all have not, check out LFC Exposed. It's absolutely hilarious. You and Joel Kane had an interaction while you're trying to train these girls to go over to the UK and do their thing for Wales, for London. Big exposure for LFC. And Joel Kane's just like, you had a nice little exchange with Joel. It's one of those things, man. Like, very entertaining portion of the show is Joel Kane. But god dang it, man, he's worried about looks, worried about trading. You and Joel got a little conversation going there, Remy.
Joe's funny, man. I don't know where his head is most of the time, and apparently nobody else does either.
Coach Kane. Yes, sir. Oh my God, I can hear you. I think I just called an old man. Well, I have the ladies here right here for you. We're ready to, get going here. So, how are you? So he's not here again. I'm good. I want to call and check in on things. You got the girls there. That's great. Why don't you hand me over to the girls? I just want to have a word with them real quick. Yeah. That was the thing, though, is you're not here. So they were wondering why that was. So I'll go ahead and you're on speaker.
Yeah, man, we showed up.
I'm on speaker. Ladies, hello. Hello, it's me. It's your coach. Now, obviously, I'm not there right now, but I want you guys to know that we got a big event coming up. And if you think the Bratislavians hated us, oh, you got another thing coming for you. Like, we're going to be hated more than Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl. It's going to be disgusting. So I just hope you guys are ready for it. What I will tell you right now is I've given Remy every bit of knowledge that I have as a coach. I think me being there is a non-issue for you guys.
Our coach not being here is a non-issue. Okay.
And he just said we have a big event coming up. He's not here.
Oh, but that's the stuff too. I think those moments really add to it. And I gotta say, with the respect and love that I have for you, my friend, it's one of the things like going into this one, because it's another Halloween bout. We're seeing all these amazing ladies in there. Talk about training going into this one too, man, because we had new names like Emily Sparkle. We had relative names like Sarah Wolf. We had Tiffany Baxter, the Conspiracy Smoke Show. We had Anna Kovachenko. Talk about it, man.
Yeah, so these were I had some first meets. Obviously with Sarah, I've known her for a little while in the whole game of our industry, and I really didn't get to. I was like a coach for the pink team, so I got to coach the pink team a lot. The newer girls were the ones that stepped in. So Anna was the first time I ever really kind of understood where her role was she was a late fill-in. And good on Sean because she was a, a Spitfire, man. Like her BJJ was ridiculous. Like she's a really, really talented jiu-jitsu artist. I don't know if that was like the game plan, but her stature versus like Tiff was crazy because like that's a big girl, like and she's got like power and like to have like a striker versus you ground game, you're definitely going to see the combativeness of it. I gotta be honest with you, bro. Like Tiff's another one I feel like could easily transition to pro wrestling without a problem. She's so fiery and a lot of fun. I believe that their bout was pretty spectacular. I think it only went the one round, but or maybe two. But it was like something that I felt for the both of them to be new. It was a good outing for each of them. Now, whether they move on and how the LFC championship committee deems them as such, I definitely feel like both of them were good additions this time around. I did get in there with obviously I've trained a lot with Emily. Emily Sparkle is a she's like a trained athlete when it comes to MMA, but her background a lot is in dance, right? And so she's got a lot of the tools to the trade when it comes to how body movements and all of these great things that we use for training purposes, and all of these other things that we go into our industry. Presentation and performance. This girl's like in fashion, so she's definitely going to bring a different element to the table. And so I felt pairing her versus Sarah was a good dynamic because Sarah's like emo and dark and aggressive and a powerhouse. And so you're definitely getting a different dynamic between the two. So it was cool to kind of just get in there with these um I guess these talents that are fairly like new to the game, but have some sort of background that can kind of like, I don't know, generate wins. I don't know. Like Anna to me just seemed like she was a very focused ground game. So for a small, petite ground game artist to go in there is a strong challenge. So it was cool to kind of see her game plan heading into it.
I gotta say, first and foremost, I just had Anna not too long ago on the show, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu just comes to her like that. She just, it's nuts. And to go on your point too, I think what was great about the two rounds that we got with her and Tiffany Baxter, Tiffany lives in Kentucky, so she's
Yeah.
close to Ohio Valley Wrestling, which, if there's any knowledge right there, Ohio Valley Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. But for me, Remy, the story of that was just she was playing the David and Goliath cat and mouse vibes, and then she got trapped in the armbar. Perfect. Now, Sarah, I'm going to say this right now, she's such an unsung hero. So good from WoW, from everything that she's done. She's so good. And Emily really, really impressed me watching that. Like you mentioned, her dance background, she has the athleticism. It worked well. They were both cheerleaders. So it worked with the story they were telling. I got to say, we got to get more of Emily Sparkle up in here because Emily has it,
Yeah,
man.
she for someone who's this was like her very first outing and that I know of, right? Aside
Yeah.
from her fashion. So aside from her being in performing, I've never seen anything out of her like that. And she killed it. Like they both had a very good understanding of I don't know, the dynamic. So when they went in bubbly cheerleader versus emo dark cheerleader, that story just played out perfectly to me. I was just like, oh, that's a beautiful thing, right? And the visual, even when I got to see the visual, you had blonde and bubbly and pink and the boyfriend was with her, right? So there's that guy, that dynamic, and then you have dark and I have no boyfriend and hair is dark, and like it was just cool. Because I don't know anybody that doesn't get into that story. Everybody knows the mean girl, everybody knows the lovely bubbly girl, right? You're even getting Broadway plays, Wicked, right? Like you get the dark emo girl, and then okay, so there's all of these different dynamics that can go into these cool things that LFC's putting together.
Oh, the cranking on the back. Ouch. Oh my goodness. The pressure on the spine.
She's flexible. She's flexible.
The Rebel has her bit in half.
Oh, interesting. Nice reverse. Just elbowed the foot to get out of that one. That was great.
Nice work by Sparkle to get out of it. Now look at this.
Ooh,
Look at
that is incredible.
Wow.
I'm telling you, for 0-0 and a Muay Thai fighter, this is not the typical sort of stuff that you see coming out. Incredible stuff.
Rocket the banana split right now. I see cameras out everywhere in the audience taking pictures.
As they were instructed to do.
I mean, these are the positions you live for in lingerie fighting championships.
Yeah. Wolf is so tough, though. She is not going to give up right here. She is not going to give up.
She's frustrated, trying to find a way out of here. Final seconds of the opening round.
Can she hold on?
Wolf just can't get out of it. She's trying to slowly wiggle her way out.
That's the way to do it right there. She's got to start attacking those legs and separate it.
Wow. My goodness, incredible opening round there.
Oh, look at that. You got to wonder if Wolf's leg is compromised. She keeps grabbing at that leg, and she was grabbing at it early on, I think, and ending in that last position.
Not able to capitalize further. Now look at this.
Incredible.
But Wolf just grabs her, and once again, is she looking to slam her down? Full control.
Straight under the knee.
The back. Oh, my God.
Oh, nice
and then
big shot.
Big punch to the face there.
Is she out? Is she out?
It looks like she's unconscious
I think
right
she's
now.
out.
She's completely unconscious, it appears. Terry London is taking a look here. I think she's out.
You gotta stop the fight.
You gotta stop the fight, don't you? If she's unconscious, I don't think you can continue.
I was a very big fan of having Tiff versus Anna because, like, I felt like that visually from the jump, you're gonna be like, oh, damn, you know what I mean? And then yes, Anna is a Spitfire. She takes no shit, bro. And it was awesome to kind of see them work through the matches. I was very impressed with every single talent that we had from beginning to end, right? Channing's another standout for me, right? These talents, they get into this thing, I think, with the idea of knowing a little bit, but when you start to see them kind of put everything together, it's like, oh man, like, you could potentially do something. And if it's MMA, one thing, great, but like pro wrestling, they all have some sort of like Shakespeare in them to be a pro wrestling. I just don't know how far any of them really want to take a pro wrestling gig, especially Tiff. I mean, she's just got the size, bro. She's got the look. She's right there in Kentucky. And if you talk to her, bro, she's kind of like, it's kind of hard not to like, she's kind of charismatic, right? I don't know. She kind of leads a conversation. Like I can hear her like, use that down south a lot. So adds to the flavor for me.
Picture like Jim Cornette if he got tatted. Put it like that.
The bed gets.
No, and I mean that with the utmost sincerity, respect with Jim and everything with Tiff. But no, I look at it from a stance like this. Like you mentioned, when it comes to Emily Sparkle and Sarah Wolf, like you mentioned, the mean girl, the bubbly cheerleader. It's like Bring It On versus Mean Girls, but that mean girl happens to be like, it's like when you watch The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider, right? And you have all of these girls. Of course, you got the Anna Faris's, you got the Rachel McAdams, and then here's the goth chick over here that likes to put spells on girls. Like y'all remember that chick. Like that's the dynamic that you have. You ramble that all in one, and then you get the story that is Emily Sparkle and Sarah Wolf.
Yeah, it's really cool because you're getting a lot of these things that you really can't get anywhere else and especially surrounded by like the LFC platform. But I feel like you even got to tap into talents when they went to the UK, right? I didn't get to do a lot with that as far as like training, but majority of the talents, we got some UK girls, right? It was cool to kind of get another mix of talents that kind of give a different dynamic. Fights are always good with matchups, right? That's where, different styles make good fights. And I think like we're now starting to see a lot of that, right? You're not just getting this like again, I know our focus and where we're driving the product, but we're getting a lot of depth. There's a lot of layers to the girls now, which is kind of cool, you know.
Dude, I'm right there with you because if you look at the UK bouts, like Raylan coming back and going against Danny Moe, who are just two amazing, amazing women athletes. And I say this, here's what pops me, just because, first of all, folks, support pro wrestling and also support indie wrestling while you're at it. But we're having a lot of indie talents come in, especially talents from Future Stars of Wrestling and from around the California area. Hell, maybe even if you're East Coast, come on over and like Christina Aguilera back in 2000. There's my pop culture nerdiness coming out. It's one of those things too, man, where you have like a Mel Fire, a Got Delilah, an Amber Phoenix. All these women represent the UK. Eva Lee, who's known for doing work in the UK, she's wrestled women like Nikki Cross, Nikki Storm in the UK, who's done work in ICW, of course, WWE with the Wyatt Six. You have all of that experience, and you wrap that into one, and you bring Nadia Sapphire and all these women. There's something for everybody, man, and we give them a little taste, like Daddy Magic says on AEW. We
Yeah,
give them a little
yeah.
taste.
Yeah, and again, Nadia for me was if you've seen her progression, like she came out here like early 2016, 17-ish, right? And did like a US tour. And I didn't even really know of her, but she hit up a lot of the locals on the West because she based herself out of California. And then you got to see the progression through everything. And then by the time she came out here, and then even on this last one, you saw the just the growth of her grappling and her catch wrestling. Like it's crazy because she wasn't that way when we first saw her, when she first made her first US tour versus where we're seeing her today. And it takes, I think she had like a knee injury as well. So it takes a lot to come back from a knee injury and then to compile on your artistic adventures on top of working on your craft. And she got herself into good shape, and she's bouncing back from the recovery with the knee injury. So now you're starting to see her work, without the hesitation, without the just all focus go. And I think that's takes a lot, right? So it takes a lot to come back. It takes a lot to show your face. Gets a lot going when they're the first time out there. And so when you're getting to see all these talents like an Emily Sparkle for your first time, and you get to see them shine, you're I don't know. It's hard not to, I guess, like root for them or, just kind of be emotionally invested when they do well. Like Gypsy Mac, like I didn't know if she was going to be able to transition well, and she transitioned perfectly, right? And she killed it in the UK. They had a great fight. Her and Sarah destroyed it, right? I think it was her and Sarah, right?
Aaron
Yeah.
Sarah, yeah.
Yeah, it was killing. Like I remember, like that was like the big hype when they all came back. At least online for me, when I was like just kind of scrolling and feeding. It was like the talk of the town for that, and I just love that it's to local ladies from Vegas, right? But Gypsy's a mainstay in Vegas and FSW particularly, right? She's been really like her growth is another growth that's insane to me because when she first started, I remember seeing her like shy and petite, small and like I'm not really do. Now she's like jacked and like really like trying to get her shit together. It's amazing when they not only you know grow into these people that you obviously know that they can grow into as far as talents, but then start to apply it in other areas like LFC and then obviously pro wrestling.
Man, I gotta tell you something. It's funny you bring up Gypsy Mac because she also another one. If you guys have not checked out the latest LFC event, her and Jordan Blue did
Oh
the
yeah.
damn thing. Holy crap, man! Like, I look at her and I look at talent like Brittany Brooks. Shout out to FSW and Brittany Brooks as well, Chris Bay, and everybody that came through. Gypsy Mac is one of those girls from seeing her early start with LFC. Like she did her thing against Shay the Fox Mazzato and Sturgis, and then she comes back and she's jacked and ever, like you mentioned. I think stuff like that brings a smile to your face because it just shows you're taking the discipline, you're taking the craft, and you're taking everything being the representation of your presentation, bro. You're representing yourself, you're presenting yourself well, and that really goes far within their journey in this thing called pro wrestling.
That's definitely not a move that'll put her out. It's just extremely painful.
It just hurts, but Jordan Blue able
Great
to roll
job,
through
transition.
to the top, and now
Immediately
she's
to
in
full
mount.
mount. Now
She's
she's
gonna
going for an
attack the
armbar.
arm. Oh, she's got this thing
That's
extended.
deep. That's deep.
My goodness.
That's deep.
GG Mac crying out in pain. The arm is extended. She's clasped her own hand. She's been able to gain
Yep.
control.
Look at that. Big
Slams
slam.
out of it.
Incredible work.
Back, and now pounding away with strikes, looking to finish this fight.
That is the veteran right there.
Jordan Blue trying to hang on, still 30 seconds to go here, but look at this. Oh,
Nice.
on the back, cranking up on that arm. Gypsy Mac looking to finish this fight right here.
That is so painful on the shoulder.
Late in the second round, Jordan Blue somehow survives and counters. Back and forth they go. My goodness.
It's got to be like 30 arm bars attempted in this fight so far.
Final seconds ticking off the clock here in round number 2.
Ooh.
Can Mac hang on?
Nice job using those kicks right there.
Heel strikes there late, and she gets out. Wow.
Wow.
What an action-packed round that was.
Sure. And then kudos to those girls too, because for the reality is they all know now that it's fucking insane in this world. You know, their competition is deep. You know, there's a lot of talented people out there. So they actually have to step up now, right? You have like in the West alone, right? We do have Brittany. She's amazing. Probably going to be the next one, really, in my opinion, to be signed, right? But now you have Fallen, who's coming up, Fallen Gray, right? SOS is not a talent that people might know about, but she's fucking amazing as well. And then you have all of the girls on the California scene, Johnny Robbie and Jin Savani, and then you start to get into a lot of the women wrestling that is way deeper, and we're starting to see it because it's grown so much, right? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you get the evolution, the women's evolution, right? But we're really starting to see like the talent pool just become so deep, and I could only imagine what it's like on the East or overseas, but on the West Coast, it's getting crazy. It's getting crazy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. I mean, I'm thinking as the East Coast guy, like I remember going to the New York Wrestling Connection, which gave us guys like Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. It gave us guys, someone like you wrestled the Greek god Papa Don. We've seen so many people come from there. The Bull Dempseys, the MJFs even wrestled there. Bear Bronson has wrestled there. There's so many people that came from that group. Mike Mondo of the Spirit Squad, Mike Mondo and NWA. Like you see so many people that you start up with. And for the women's side, and I've always told this story, Remy, it's like, look at Deanna Purrazzo, what she's doing now on Ring of Honor and AEW. Like one of my earliest memories, of course, the extra work as the Rosebuds. I remember her wrestling Willow Nightingale and New York Wrestling Connection for the Starlet Championship. Like that's another one who starts in Ring of Honor, goes to TNA, has her tenure in WWE, and now she's just rocking it. Everybody progresses, man, and there's always something for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, in our art, there's the reinvention, I think, is like a necessity now. You know, I think you almost have to reinvent yourself every 10 years. And for pro wrestling, I feel it's maybe not as easy because like I don't want to, but it's I feel like we can because there's a lot more stories to tell. Whereas like music artists, like they only kind of have like a few albums, and then people are, you either fall off with that guy or it's done. You very rare do you get like a catalog of like 10 to 20 years of cranking out albums. And so when it comes to pro wrestling, to sit down and really kind of lay out a body of work, it's only the ones that kind of reinvent over a course of time. Jericho's, like you're starting to see like it, you have to drive something. And for pro wrestling, there's so many stories we can tell. It's just kind of where do you want to go? And for the Diano, like pathway, it was hard for her. Like the women's wrestling wasn't abundant, and I didn't really kind of get going with her until her like TNA kind of run, right? And then her East Coast stuff is that pool of talent's deep. Like it's very rare that we start to see like a West Coast talent get signed. It's always like I always felt like it was like a South or the East. Like there's a lot there. And there's also tons of good shows, which is probably the reason why you get so many out of that thing. But for our side of the U.S., the girls, the talent, the guys, even you're starting to see a lot of them. I don't know. For me, I feel like we get a lot now. Vegas is a hotbed of guys coming to live here just because of the hub, right? We're a mecca of flights and places to do and things to happen and all that good stuff for Vegas. So it's kind of we have a lot of guys that like kind of live here, but on the West Coast, like signed guys, your Jordan Cruzes maybe are kind of like tipping. Uh, I really, it was close between like Ice and Jordan Oasis where, they're ID'd, like it's only they're only getting a taste, it's only a taste away before you get signed. You start to kind of see, I think Blackwood's doing the West Coast Pro stuff, so he's doing his thing, and the West Coast Pro's another definitive promotion on the West Coast. Defy, obviously, you saw the Suavecitos are going over to Defy, so they're starting to make a little bit of a noise because that's another big show, right? Your Kevin Crosses are going to Defies, and all of the the indie guys that come off are trying to get those shows, and those are the shows you want to kind of make your name, make your presence felt. So it's cool to see our ladies like a Brittany Brooks get like a Dreamwave, or a Fallen Grade get like a Dreamwave, like start to see them kind of float into these really predominantly good promotions that can get an eye on them, because that's all it is, bro. These girls are so talented. All they need is an eye, somebody to be like, I want to use you right here, right now. Let's run the moon, because they all have it. We're just waiting for when it's gonna simmer and pop off.
No, I look at it like this, man. I know Brittany and Erica Demian and many great girls were part of the ID program matches. And like you mentioned, two greats like Jordan Oasis and Ice Williams. And I mean, I look at people like this, man. When you look at that evolved talent that they've got on there, and I'm so happy, I'll be honest with you. I was so thrilled to see you guys from the part of the ID program, and so many people like Aaron Rourke and the Marshall Mathers, friggin' Eminem, Marcus Mathers, and so many people coming through. Like that really makes me happy, because I remember back in the day going to indies, and like you would see like relatively like Ring of Honor had like Sarah Del Rey and Daisy Hayes, and then Shimmer comes around, boom, here's all these women. Like you would get people in there. Like I remember the days of Shane Hagedorn and friggin' Pele Primo, for God's sake, and then Kevin Owens really making his way through, and Sami Zayn. So you are right there watching the early stages of these people's career, and you're a part of these moments to see them flourish and to see them thrive. That is right there makes you inspired, and then also at the end of the day too, to quote the great Jeff Hardy, at the end of the day, Remy, with this art form, we all exist to inspire. We all gravitate to people.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's you bring up all of these great people, right, throughout the threshold or the course of our time here. But it sucks too, because in that same vein, a lot of these people gave up their bodies. Like,
Right.
no joke, Daisy Hayes is a nut. She fucking killed it. Like I would go out and see her matches and be like, what the fuck,
Yep.
right? And you when you start talking like that, like it brings my head back to when I was like hustling for ROH, and we were like doing ring crew and riding the ring truck, and it was like me and Grizzly Redwood and Rhett Titus, and those guys had been doing it for like years, and like put in real hard work. I was only there for like a cup of coffee, bro. So like it was thrilling to see them when they did end up making it, but it's also really like challenging too, because this business is tough, and you're in it for only a short period of time. You only have this window to like really try to drive in what you can, right? So everybody's like, I didn't really understand enjoy the journey when you're in the journey. Right? It's only when you're starting to get on your way out of the journey that you really kind of have that perspective. But the journey itself, when they're in it, like for Brittany or any of the youngers that are kind of coming up, like that window for you is to just go as hard as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can, and God willing, your body stays the course and you tell the epic stories, because this motherfucker is a wave, bro. This business is a wave. You're gonna ride high, you're gonna sink low, and hopefully the highs are the highs, bro, and the lows aren't as low.
Dude, I'm right there with you. And I mean, that's like anything in life. And I always say this to people, not only making the most of your time, but one of the things I've always learned in my life, and a dear friend of mine, her name is Melissa. Shout out to Melissa. One of the great things that I've learned from her is like in anything in life, it's a test. You know what I'm saying? God puts everything forward, not to get too spiritual, but it really is. It's one big test. You're going to get tested in life. It's just how you really make the most of the opportunity and how you really go within said test.
Yeah, absolutely. It in our business and our industry is very, very, driven just like any other business of show business or music or anything that has a lot of competitive. And the more money you get, the weirder it gets as well, right? So I really find that at least when I'm training or coaching, or at least in my give back to the younger talents, I just want to let them know that it's always going to be this struggle. There's always going to be this journey, but the beautiful part about it is you just never know where it's going to take you. You know, if I was a kid in Vegas, you know, who grew up pretty middle class, nothing crazy. But if you were to tell me that I was going to be main eventing in some city in China with some really big LED in front of 1,000 Chinese people, I'd be like, no way. But it happened. And that's cool, right? And who, God only knows what these people's journeys are going to take them on, whether it's WWE or overseas or whatever. I just hope that what we can give them are the platforms and they take their art to a whole new level. Because in theory, bro, this business likes to push you down or anything in life, right? But you stay authentic, and I believe that the universe will reward you with that. Just because authenticity is a beautiful thing, and if you can create your art in the authenticity of who you are, now you're dealing with magical stuff. And pro wrestling is beautiful when it comes to that kind of stuff, bro. Like, I don't know if there's ever, for me, I don't know if there's another art form that I get to have that type of reward.
It's one of those things too. I'm always reminded of the great Tommy Dreamer when he was in the Rise and Fall of ECW DVD. One of the quotes that he always said was, "You know what? I never wanted to throw out the first ball at the World Series. I never wanted to score a touchdown. All I wanted to do was wrestle." And look at what happened with Tommy Dreamer. Like it's stuff like that that really hones the craft of what he wanted and what a lot of the wrestlers aspire to be. And I got to mention one to you because you didn't mention him. And when you think of SSW, you think of pro wrestling. And I saw the documentary. It was absolutely amazing to see you and everything that was put together. Man, your boy Killer Cross. I got to tell you straight up and down like 6 o'clock. Love that dude to death. Such a mind, such wisdom. And I got to tell you right now, with the stuff that he was doing with the Wyatt Six and the stuff that he was doing with the Final Testament, I don't get it. And what I mean by I don't get it is you have stuff right there. And I know he's killing it right now in GCW. I know he's killing it all over the world. He just had a match with Matt Cardona with House of Glory. That dude, man, is just, he's got it. That's all I can really say to that. Go ahead, Remy.
Oh, no, I mean you're right, bro. He's a great human being. You know, like Kevin when he walked into FSW, we never knew what he was gonna be, right? You don't know what their journey is gonna take you, what their journey is gonna take them on. But Kevin stayed humble throughout the whole entire course, and it's only attest to his humanity. Um, he goes out of his way, and it's even more now than I've ever seen before, right? Like he's always been a really good person in the time that I've known him, and especially growing up in pro wrestling with him. But when I got to spend the last few times, fortunately with him, his give back to the people is insane. It's like insane. His time that he gives is stuff that like if you really want to get down to like the nitty gritty, and nobody's gonna say this for him because he's just that's just who he is, man. But time is something that you can never give, or it's like so valuable, right? It's like one of the only things that I guess you can give that's like you're never gonna get. Like it's irreplaceable, I guess, right? And so I've seen him take time with fans. I've seen him take time with wrestlers. I saw him begrudgingly uh, be pulling him away to be like, "Yo, bro, you need to like get to the hotel, spend the time with an interviewer." You know, when they could have done it tomorrow. You know, and I don't know if that's just who he is in his chemistry or if it's just how he works. You know, it's just kind of always been him in a sense. But when I get to see it at a high level like he does now, because he's getting pulled in so many directions and the way he juggles it, it's kind of amazing. Um, yeah, man, I don't know what the fumble is on that. You know, like I believe there's a lot of ins and outs. I get to talk to him on a personal level, but I don't want to ever speak for the man, right? I don't know what he really internalizes in his heart when he lays his head down at night. I know what he likes to tell me is, you know, he put a lot of effort into this one, and he really tried. But WWE and the higher ups in whatever it is, doesn't even need to be WWE. It could just be in life, bro. people who are in power, they have a thought, and that's just the way it is. Whether it's a boss who doesn't want you to get the promotion, thinks you're fine just, plugging away, doing your job the way you are, doesn't see you in another light or doesn't value you. There's a lot of things that go into this, and maybe that was it. But what really boils down to is one person or one entity saw that they were this, another entity saw that they were this, and they said, "Well, we're the ones who made you this." And that person's like, "No, no, that's not true." And they're both right, in the sense, right? WWE is kind of correct. No platform, no nothing. But Kevin took took the opportunities and created it, right? So it's kind of like a give and take. It's kind of what we're seeing with the UFC and all that, right? They're having this battle, this money, right? It's all about money and compensation and value. And the reality is like without the talent, you really don't have a whole lot to bank off of, right? It's the problem that we have with the P. Diddy shit. And I'm not talking about the SA stuff, but I'm talking about like the publishing. Not one person can make all of this money off of the backs of the talent or the authenticity that you bring to the table, right? And that's got to be a partnership. It's got to be mutual. And then I think that's where business gets a little wild, and this is why you're seeing the fallout the way it is. Now, I don't think fences can't be mended or bridges can be gapped or any of that stuff. Obviously WWE values Kevin because why would they have let him do the run that he did on the way out, right? There is a talent there. You can make money with him. His story, I don't know if you read his book, but his story is is my childhood, right? Going like he did it in New York and on the East Coast, but I pretty much did it on the West Coast and in Vegas. But it's almost identical. You can, you know, finding yourself loving this business so much that you want to be in this business and then getting to the point to actually do it. And then for him, it's been a weird fucking road for that man, brother. But I gotta tell you, like out of all of it, if it all played out the same, like I think he's fine. Like Kevin's funny in the idea that money doesn't drive that man. Like money is always going to be stuff that's there for everybody, right? And some of people it really drives them, and they're great. They're billionaires, and they do, and they're probably great people. But money's never driven Kevin. Kevin's driven by uh purpose. Like he needs purpose. So with that lifestyle, he's done really, really well for himself, and he's fucking talented, bro, on a level like I can't sing, right? I don't know how to sing. I don't know how to play good instruments. He does both of those things. I don't know how to draw. I'm not an artist. He does that. I know, like I can dance a little bit, but that's about all, and then pro wrestle. That's about all the extent of your boy. And I played baseball pretty okay, not enough to get uh in the majors, but enough to, have some people look at your boy. So everybody has their talents and to lean into these things. Like for me, Kevin's always been a talented cinematic guy. From the time that he walked in with and showed me a promo, everybody was blown away. I've never seen anything like that before. But he led me to where I do my promos now, right? Like I kind of have a cinematic feel to it. We talked earlier about the Philadelphia one, but Kevin helped a lot in the idea where he was just like, you just got to keep going, bro. Throw anything at the wall, and if it sucks, all good. But at least you got something out there. The more I was throwing it out there, I actually got the Philly one. And to me, Mike, I gotta be honest, like that Philly promo was, and I'm not a promo guy. I'd be the first one to tell you, but I've been leaning into it. I feel like you got to lean into all the uncomfortablenesses that make you, and that's how you grow. So as uncomfortable, bro, funny fun fact, but your boy was petrified, like having to read in front of the class. I would sweat profusely, bro, and I would just do anything I could, fake to go to the bathroom. I would fake sick just so I didn't have to read in front of the class, bro. I hated it. But here we are, cutting promos, you know what I mean, in front of people out there performing. It's just something that I feel like you got to lean into. He was a big proprietor of pushing me to that point, and now, for me, I think I'm doing or having the funnest time I've ever had in pro wrestling, even though my body's way worse and not bouncing back like I needed to at the age that I'm at. But I feel like my work, my voice, all of these things are really starting to connect. And I think it all kind of came to a fruition for me when 2025 hit. I told myself, I was like, all I want to do is really like put everything I could into pro wrestling that was for my happiness. Not because I needed it, not because it was like I need to get signed. I just wanted to be happy, bro. And I did some really cool shit this year, bro. I gotta tell you, like I really enjoyed my 2025 in pro wrestling. Uh, it got to a point where PCW threw the secondary title on your boy, which was fun. I kind of
That's
appreciate that. It's just something that like you don't ever wants or ask for, right? Like like I would have worked for Dom and PCW till the end of my retirement, and they could have never belted me up for all I care, right? It's just a beautiful place to work. But the idea that they were like, hey man, we want to throw this on you. We want you to come out a couple times. We want you to do a little bit more with us. It's humbling. It's like, wow, here I am. I would say that I'm probably on the tail end of my stuff versus my come up, and here they are, still trying to feed me some fruits of the labor. And I gotta be honest, I love that. That it makes me drive more for what I'm doing. And I like working with their younger talents, bro. They, like we talked a lot about girls and we talked a lot about the LFC, bro, but that's another person that I gotta be honest, man. Like I think if it's not Brittany, it's Samaya. Like she's probably one of the best talents I've ever been in the ring with. And she's so young yet, right? Like I've only gotten to interact with her a few times. Like we did an intergender match. And I think Joe's gonna do a lot of intergenders moving forward. So you might actually get to see a little bit of that. Title match is like really, driving our, our revenue. So I love those guys too, man. Title match is awesome, but they love women wrestling, bro, and they will get down on some intergender stuff, and I think intergender, especially with the AAA, has really kind of people with it, right? So you get to see that, and me and Maz did Layla and Luke Curtis, right? We had a match with Layla and Curtis, and fucking killed it, bro. Like I felt so good after the match, bro. Those two people, dickheads that they are, heels that they are, they're fucking amazing, right? Like nobody gives Layla credit because she's like hidden in AEW. It sucks, bro, because she's actually really, really fucking talented. And then nobody like Luke is a fucking hidden gem, bro. Luke Curtis, mark my words, will probably fucking do something substantial if anybody gives him a chance because that's all that kid needs, bro. Good head on his shoulders, really nice dude, and his work rate is fucking phenomenal. They only give him like a little bit at NWA. Those motherfuckers, man, they need to give him more. That NWA, bro, I can't put my fucking finger on it. But you're gonna see a lot more intergender stuff out of Joe. So we did one where it was me and Maz versus Koa and Zamaya, and we had a brilliant match. And Koa is another talent, bro, hidden. Like a lot of these Arizona guys are really, really good, but they don't get a lot of notoriety because they're hidden. It's not that they're not doing the work because they definitely are, but Pretty City Express is a fucking phenomenal throwback tag team. If you've ever seen them, you'll love them, bro. They just work so fucking old school, bro. It's like that real brain bustery, like AEW or sorry, AWA style, bro. Yes, that like that, that tag wrestling, that real like it reminds me of like
like FTR and AEW in a way.
yeah, I mean, because I feel like the FTR stuff is kind of like like their shtick,
Yeah,
right? And like that old school way, but like how like AWA had like I don't know the Great Gagne versus and fucking Mr. Perfect versus God damn it
like Jerry Lawler and Kerry Von Erich.
yes. Yes, so it's those matches that are like you can just see the slugging and the hard hitting. It's not like as high fly or lucha-y because they bring that style back. So yes, they are like kind of like an FTR like grittier tag team, but we just don't know yet about them. And they're only a little bit of like, they're just, a taste away, bro, because they're both really good. They cut good promos. They both look the part, right? They're real pro wrestlers, Zumbas, like there's that culture, that pro wrestling culture that's out there now, right? And some of those guys fit that mold, bro. And those two go out of their way to really kind of perfect their craft, work on their what's going to get them to the next level, and they're humble in the idea of critiquing, right? I can go back there and they'll come up to me and be like, what'd you think of this and this? And I'll be like, do you want the nice version? And they're like, no, of course we don't want the nice version. So you then, because you're respected between colleagues, because I think that's what it is now, Mike. Like it's where I'm not a superior just because I've been in the business a little longer doesn't mean anything, but we're colleagues. So they're going to bounce their ideas, their thought process, and our art off of each other, bro, because we're constantly learning or breaking it down, breaking it down, and learning, and rebuilding. And so I feel like when you get into those kind of minds, like that's what's going to generate like getting signed and really kind of getting into this is a longevity thing. It reminds me of like a lot of like their young Hammerstones. Like Hammer was like that for me. Like Hammer was like a guy who driven with the business, hit the gym. He's still like that in his old age. He'll punch you in the head for saying he's old, but he's like that's what it is. It's like that driven pro wrestler, man. And I gotta tell you, without those guys in our business, man, it doesn't make you step up. Those guys are gonna make you step up. When I see my name on the other side of the paper and it's like Hammerstone or Joe Graves, like I know it's gonna be a good night, a fun night, but I know it's gonna be a fucking long night, bro.
Well, that's some of the best stuff too, right? Having the right dance partner and just having the right team to really go in there. I think sometimes that's the best stuff. Even when you're kicking the shit out of each other, that's like the best stuff that really draws and a lot of people can feel because they know. And I think one of the best things, like even you mentioned right there, like your promo work, which was just hilarious. That'll be in the link in the show as well. It's one of those things too where you're coming out of your own as well. You never stop learning, like you mentioned, but having the right opportunity, finding the right spot really, really works. And I always say this, and I'll even say this to anybody who wants to get into professional wrestling. Just go with it. Like learn, show your case, your authenticity, like you mentioned, excuse me, but find the right character. Always evolve. Throw stuff. You need to have that creative juices flowing. That's with LFC, that's with anything. Go against the grain. Follow your heart and really just take in everything, eyes and ears open. Like you hear it all the time, but it's so simplistic, Remy.
Amelia Plum here with Remy Marcel, the new Slam U champion. Remy, you're walking out of this year the new Slam U champion. What does that mean for the future of the company?
No mames way! Papi chulos! Right? Enrique, I told you exactly what I was going to do. That's right, walk out the Slam U champion. So it doesn't matter who management lines up. Jacob East, Joe the Graves. All of them will fall in 2026. That's right. You want to know what's in line for the PCW? Ibana! Ibana is going straight to the top. When Mr. FU is now Mr. Slam U. Plum?
Oh.
Yeah, like for me, like finding like the personality is always going to be you, right? Like everybody's always going to use that cliche, it's you times 100 or you turned up to 10 or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, man, like a lot of these young guys that come in or girls, whatever, but a lot of younger talents that come into the business, they always have their ideas like like I always hear old other coaches be like, "Don't worry about it. Just worry about the technique right now, or just worry about pro wrestling." And I agree with that, but I kind of like don't say that either. And on the back end, and I feel like I'm the good uncle coach versus everybody else, right? But like on the back end, I'm like, don't lose that because I feel like the child in you, right? If you lose that novelty, it's what brought you here to the dance and something somewhere down the line like a lot of my segues or a lot of my metaphors of pro wrestling's really like they parallel with stand-up comedy. Right? I feel like our arts are just like almost so similar with each other because we're very alone a lot. Most of the time is on the road. People think we have this lavish lifestyle that we're really like doing all these things, but little do they know that it's a lot of empty nights sitting in a hotel room, right? And you get the 10 to 15 minutes out in the crowd, hopefully, that you got for that night, and that's what you're driving off of. And so when you're working out a bit or you're working out this scheme or whatever you're trying to put together as far as like a story. I think a lot of it's like in pro wrestling too, right? You're working on your moveset, what works good, what looks good, what feels good. How do I look? How do I do all these things, and it's awesome when they first come in with these like really ridiculous ideas. But it's also awesome to see them take ideas that you have or that you were just like kind of spitballing, and then like you see not only does it work for them, but then they take it to a whole new level. I think for if I could be transparent with you, Mike, like a lot of my rewards in 2025 has been writing for our student show for FSW. Like me and Joe write a lot of it, and I think he fall because he's so he's gotten to FSW, bro. Like at this point right now, like FSW is like almost there, bro. Because like he's gotten to a point where FSW is so big. He's got like a casinos that he's always in and out of right now. So we just locked in the Luxor, right? It's a like a 300 person like room. But if you were to tell me when I first like when I was a kid in Vegas that we would have wrestling on the strip, that's insane, right? Like it's a kudos to Joe. Like Joe deserves to go down in Vegas Hall of Fame of wrestling because he's the man when it comes to that because he's the only one that put it on the map. Like Rush did really good and there was like a couple good ones. Buffalo Jim, like they did okay when it came to like getting some sort of notoriety for Vegas, but Joe's the one who really put like Joe's the promoter of Las Vegas wrestling. So he's got, a venues that he's trying to do. So a lot of the student show, I think he just falls on the coaches to kind of let him know who's ready to have matches and then me to write a lot of it with him, because I'm mostly going in with ideas where, bro, we had a kid. He's been training with us for 3 years. He hasn't had a match yet. He's struggling, but it's a lot up and down. He's a young dude, but he's like, the question is always when am I going to get it? When am I going to get it? So, you do your best to try to write these storylines, and so we wrote a storyline in him to have a 6-man match and he went out there and he did his best, bro. He killed it, but his face back through the curtain afterwards is the magic, bro. You should have seen it. It was insane. It was insane. There's nothing like it. It's bananas. And to be someone who can like I don't know, pave that way a little bit or just guide them to that. It's really crazy because the work that went into it is all of those hours the last 3 years of him training every day. Like this kid takes the bus to and from, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's not even like he's getting rides. There's no fucking Uber, right? He doesn't have that kind of like loot to Uber, bro. He lives really far from the school in not the best of areas. But he buses that motherfucker every day to that school to make sure that he tries his art, bro. And how do you not reward that? And like the face back through the curtain, the feel that he had when they were going crazy, the 2 weeks we spent working on his hot tag to come into this thing, right? He pops off his hot tag to exactly the way it's supposed to. People are reacting, they're going crazy exactly how we show him. He gets back through the curtain, all of that work, all of that everything, bang, it all now it clicks. Now he's hooked. Now he's hooked, bro. He's done. He's gonna love pro wrestling for the rest of his fucking life.
Well, that's the main thing, and I've always said this. Like you talk about working with the young talent, you part that pearls of wisdom, so to speak. That was one of my favorite analogies because when I was in ninth grade, I had a living environment teacher, a science teacher named Mr. Marino. He always talked about the pearls of wisdom. One
Love
of the
it.
things to really drop on people is pearls of wisdom. We're helping that young man from bust the hard work the dedication, and the passion that he has for this. Stuff like that works. It's the subtleties, intricacies, and nuances that really make up the overall art form.
Yeah, and then think and we haven't even touched on the pitfalls of his life, bro. The struggles that he's had to deal with every day of his life, right? The loss that God only knows what he's gone through. Then I just want to touch one thing. It's the biggest fuck you to everybody that told him that he couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, think of how many people probably said, you're not gonna be able to do that, bro. I wouldn't do that, or maybe you should stop, or maybe you shouldn't do this, or maybe you should quit going, like, nah, fuck you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he'll never have to. He kept going, right? It paid off for him. It's in some fashion, and so it's in those moments I think like the arts became something brand fucking new to me, right? Like coaching is a brand new spectrum to this business that I never knew, and like I knew when I was getting the fruits of the knowledge, like the nuggets from Matt Stryker and D'Lo and all of these people to learn television and all of this stuff. Like I knew that this was all great, but to actually get all of this, take it, and then be able to apply it in my own way, right? I don't own the promotion, right? I don't Joe, that's Joe's baby. That's Joe's money. That's Joe's investment. That's everything that is Joe. But what he does let me do, and I'm grateful for it, is he gives me a piece of his ear to talk. Lets me get a few random ideas, and they're random and they're crazy, and then we get to have this thing, right? This really magical moment. Fourth wall. You want to hear a fourth wall story real
Hit me.
quick? So fourth wall story, right? Me and Jack are on our way to China. We're the tag team champions of the world, FSW, but we're the tag champs, right? So we're fucking going. Uh, we go to China. China's going, so they're like, "Hey, we want you to come." I talked to Joe. Joe, we want to go. We're going to China. Do you want us to take the belts? I don't want them to be gone that long. Please, like, we'll drop them to somebody. I said, cool. Two young kids, two young talents, right? Little did you know, we didn't know we were going to China, but 3 months ago prior, we had a match with these guys who filled in for OVE. That was them, right?
Yeah, Jake and Jake
Yeah, yeah.
and
So
Chris.
OVE came to, we were supposed to do a show against me and Jack, but they got stuck in London, right? So Chris Bay and Nino Black filled in, and we did a dark match. Fucking killed it. They were young, bro. They were green. Had the best fucking match, one of the best matches in a while. Fast forward, we told Joe, I'm like, Joe, if we're gonna drop the belts, I just want to drop them to them. I think they're young, they're getting booked everywhere. Let's just keep them. He's like, okay, cool. I was like, but I need you to do me a favor. He's like, what's up? I was like, I don't want you to tell him. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I want them to think that we're going to China with fucking belts, bro. And I want it to be organic and a real emotion. And he's like, all right. So me, Jack, and Joe knew all the way up until the night of the show. Okay. We then smartened up the referee. And we planned out the entire match. And then what I ended up doing was just not kicking out on a falsie. So we did the whole entire match, told the referee, don't worry, this is going to be the finish. I'm not going to kick out. But he got smartened up to the falsie of the non-kick out on the falsie. And we got an organic. They never knew they were going to win the belts that night, bro. And the place went ballistic because fortunately we ended up having like a really good house that night. It was awesome. But the raw emotion from their feelings and that captured on camera, and even them walking back through the curtain when they didn't know, it was just a beautiful moment, bro. And like, I don't think that a lot of people put those kind of efforts in when they think about our art, right? A lot of people are so wrapped up with what they think pro wrestling is, but there's a lot of like these really humbling, awesome stories that are being told in the back that nobody really knows. And it's beautiful, bro. It's a beautiful thing. And that's just one of many for me. Chris has got some, right? Like I like like we all have these little nuance stories where the art has taken a whole new thing because we've given it into a perspective of somebody that's like, wow, I'm hooked now. It's that night that they won the belts. He tells me to this day, he's like, bro, I'll never forget that night. Like it's something he'll never forget, and he'll probably go on to do Mania. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something he'll never it'll stay with him. And that night that the student finally made his debut and actually had his match, it'll stay with him for the rest of his life. Whether he does nothing, if he does nothing, if he quits tomorrow, Mike, if he quits tomorrow, at least he has that, bro. And like I feel those are gonna be things that no, not a lot of people touch on with our business, bro. I mean, they do, but they don't, right?
Well, you should, because I think in life, like moments and memories created, moments and memories yet to be created. That is a popular adage, and I think having that organic authenticity, like we've touched upon within our time here, I really love that about professional wrestling. Some of the stuff, like you mentioned, in the back that translates in front of the camera, that's so real. And like you even look at how Eddie Kingston cuts his promos in AEW, the real, the raw, the
Best promo, bro. Like
agreed.
without a doubt, no matter if like he cut one the other night, like it was just backstage and he was just kind of like, free balling it, but it still felt like authentic and organic. And then I don't know if you watched tonight. I know it's a little time difference, but if you do, get watch tonight because he taps to Joe, right? Last week he taps out, but the way how he said it tonight, bro, it grabbed me and I'm just like, like that's the promo that like I yearn for me. I don't know if I talk that way through camera, and I don't know if I talk that way in my regular life, right? I don't know if I have that just that cadence, that knowledge, the confidence, because like I feel like Kevin does that, right? Kevin grabs you by the fucking head and pulls you through the screen, bro. You know what I mean? Like some of them just have that it and yeah, Eddie's right there with him, bro. He's got one of the best fucking promos in the business for sure. Ooh, kitty cat.
It's one of those things too where like you mentioned, like when he's talking about I love AEW, you were against everything that does not represent AEW. You've changed, you've gone corporate. Stuff like that is raw, it's emotion, and you know who Eddie Kingston is and how he feels. It draws you. It's like, for example, somebody could go out there and they could be so vicious with like a bar. Think of it like with rap music. You could just be like, hey, I'll do things to you that will make Jeffrey Dahmer blush. Like that one line sets the tone for everything. It shows they're crazy. It shows they're animalistic, but at the same time, too, don't fuck with that guy. You
Yeah.
have so many things that really intangible to that.
Yeah, I forgot if it was Biggie that was like darker than a black heart tattoo on a black person or something like that. It was some kind of really ridiculous line, bro. But it's really fucking and like again, bro. Like if without the authenticity, I think we don't get these moments from these people, and they don't have to be the best at promoing, but it's in those moments that I think generate the best promo. Um, like even the other night when we got Braun's promo, like Braun's a little like out there, but I enjoyed him being like real, like talking like really being fired up by the idea that people, especially Punk probably did snub him, for all we fucking know, right? Who the fuck knows? They're probably like, oh, I don't give a fuck what the fuck this dude is, right? But again, it's in these authentic moments I feel like we really kind of generate, and that's the weird thing about our business too, bro, is we're an industry built off of like weird kayfabe work shoots. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? Right? Like some of it's pretend, but some of it's not. I don't even know what lines are we blurring today. So I love anybody that can convey a story through words because it's something I challenge with. I feel like in my art, I do all right in the idea of how I want to present. I'm a Tarantino nut, right? So I love Quentin Tarantino movies and anything that involves stuff like that. So I try to mimic a lot of the things that I see, or a lot of like my ideas, or my head goes there. But I'm also a film nut, bro. I don't really read, even though I will. I don't really do that. If I do read, I get really deep into like autobiographical movie, stuff. And my movies are very documentary. Like I love documentaries. And if it's about pro wrestling or anything that I'm interested in, breakdancing, I'm fucking hooked. You know what I mean? So if it's something that is going to tap into a layer for me, I feel like I have to explore it. And it wasn't until this last couple of years, and I gotta say a lot of it has to do with Kevin, like talking the art with him has been super eye-opening, especially after his, WWE stuff. Like pre WWE like indies, Kevin was really like insightful. But post WWE and in the WWE, when you conversate about the art with him, it's really insane because not only is he taking what he's already had or that he's already kind of encompassed, but also what these really intelligent, fucking high level people are giving him and feeding him. And then he's washing away the bullshit that he doesn't like and giving it to you through Kevin's eyes. And Kevin's kind of like really articulate and he says things like I always loved when he would sit in on classes, like him and Sugar Brown. Are you familiar with Sugar
Oh
Brown?
yeah.
Yeah, him and Sugar Brown are my two favorites. I mean, I love Jack Manley sitting in too, but him and Sugar Brown are my two favorites. Him, Kevin and Sugar, because I've seen it on countless times where they've explained something to a student or somebody else, and the light bulb moment happens, right? Even though people had said something to them a billion times about it, right? And I think that that's something that it's invaluable. Like having these people be able to be around and give you some sort of knowledge that is from them that they see. Because not everybody sees it the way they do. And I put a lot of my thought process around those two dudes because I pretty much those are the only two dudes who I really like spit a lot of the art with because they're in my everyday circle, right? So every day I get to like, kind of chat about what I think the business is or what wrestling is. And then if they're watching, Kevin and Shug, they don't really watch a lot of indies, so it's really me talking to them about the indies. But I love everything, bro. Like I'll watch anything if like I tell the kids, send me. If I don't get back to you, it's not because of anything. It's just because like I got stuff, but I will definitely watch it and we'll definitely talk about it because I remember stuff. Like I have two dudes in Arizona. They're one of them's Enrique, whoever wrestled, and the other one's Freddie Cordova. Uh, but they're kind of tagging, but they're both have like they're young, right? So they're both sending me matches that you just start to see them like click. You're starting to see them get it. You're starting to see them blossom, and I'm just like, oh, beautiful, bro. And I might not say right then and there, but that next show when I'm on, I sat Freddie Cordova down and was just like, yo, bro, let me tell you all these things that I loved about it. And I don't know if I will ever not like love wrestling. Like wrestling's probably gonna be with me forever, and I'll probably always watch it. Even it's what I fall asleep to, bro. It's I remember when I was a kid in high school. Me and my boy, we love wrestling so much, but my boy was a nutcase, and he had like a really good paying job. He was a manager at Oshkosh Bagosh and Famous Footwear, so he was fat paid. But he would buy when RF Video was cool. He would buy fucking tons of RF video. So I would fall asleep to like the best of Taz. You know what I mean? Like, and it'd be all fan cam from fucking Gabe, right? It's like Tajiri versus fucking Super Crazy versus
Crazy.
like, yeah, freaking Little Guido. And it's just like house shows, bro. And it's all VHS tapes, but that's what I watched as a kid. And so, I think pro wrestling is just gonna always be with me, especially now that it turned into my art. And then I've been really fortunate in coaching, bro, not in just like, you know, pro wrestling, but even after the fact with LFC stuff, bro. Like it's segued into a whole nother thing that I never even knew, right? I was like, all right, I'm not an MMA guy, but I'll definitely teach you how to be a performer for sure, bro. And it I think my biggest takeaway from this past LFC was Emily because she's the one who I think I spent the most time with, the one who I didn't think was going to do very much. I mean, obviously Anna's a first step in, but all the other girls, I thought, Sean picked them simply because he'd seen something that they've done before. Emily's not a wrestler, like she doesn't wrestle, and she's definitely not doing the other stuff. She's like a runway fashion person. You know what I mean? She's not anything like that. And then her training is all like, her MMA training is very like training. It's not like she's never been into a fight before. So it was cool to see all of them shine, bro. It was awesome. I was like, cool. Paris Love, bro. Paris Love fucking killed it. I was like,
Yeah.
damn.
And for those who've not seen the last LFC, Bella Madison and Paris Love, which is a rematch from their bout from Secret's Hideaway back at LFC 39, Got Us Among Us. What they did in Florida translated what they did in Vegas. Like those two, and Bella has come a long way as well since we first saw her in 2021. Killing it. Paris Love, like you mentioned, very tall, very statuesque. She has a great technique with it as well. They're both learning and they're both grinding, man, and it's a beautiful thing to see.
Again, bro, they a lot of them came in with, for me, I was just like, not that I wasn't hopeful for them. I was just like, I feel like it's all like raw talent, right? We don't know what we're working with. And then when we started to get in there, I was just like, oh, they can do a little something. And they got a little something going on. And then when they started to put the ideas together, it was just like, oh, y'all are good. And then to see them perform it, I was just more concerned about uh the performance. Like when you're out there, it gets wild in your head. So there was a couple venue problems, I think. So that got kind of switched up a bit. So the venue was new for them. The ring was not a wrestling ring, but
Yeah.
so I can imagine that was a test for them because boxing rings and MMA cages, man, they don't feel good to fall on.
Right.
With pro wrestling, it's a little something, but good Lord. But yeah, I was super impressed with everyone, their skill level. I think bottom line, like a lot of the kudos or the unsung hero stuff goes to Sean. He puts together a lot of these events that are both overseas and in these cities that, it can be really trying and God, bro, like organizing everything. It's very time consuming. I don't know how he juggles it all, but he does very well at what he does. As far as like the overall production, it's definitely stepped up. All of the guys in production, the production is an unsung job, right? Nobody ever kudos them. Nobody ever gives them the props. Nobody ever gives them their flowers. So I think they're doing great. It's always a pleasure to work with them when I have to film. We're always in and out. I think the girls have to stay there a lot longer than I do. So, I don't know how it is on their end for their long days, but for mine, it's very pleasurable to be with LFC. I'm glad that it's taken a direction that it's gone into now. The platform seems to be really kind of growing. In the last, like, I don't know, bro, 3 years, I see it a lot more than I ever have. And then it's something that's getting known. And if Sean can turn this into a platform that is a notorietable place where people can kind of see talents. I think that's just another feather in the cap for his business and the overall structure. I think he's done a great job from when he started versus where it's as today. You can start seeing the production's a lot more, cameras or, it's not grainy. It's very high def. We're definitely getting HD 4K lingerie, 4K lingerie. Yeah, man, I'm excited to see how much it grows on the next year for 2026. I know he's got like a few events planned. Are you on any of them?
Well, I will say this. Anytime that you need me for 2026, I will be your ring announcer. I'm like Tombstone. I'll be your Huckleberry. But
I love
just
that.
yeah, just doing this podcast even helps a lot. So I mean, it gives people their notoriety, it gives people their name, and also I get to meet you, you crazy son of a bitch. So that's always a pleasure.
Main event, LSC 45, final round. These two have been going at it.
Madison looked a little hesitant. I think those strikes hurt her.
Look at this.
Love just
Paris
wailing
Love
on her.
Wailing away.
Wailing on her.
After a dominant second round, Love starting well. But look at this creative takedown.
Yeah, that was nice.
Beautiful little rolling trip from the 50-50.
And then cranking on that ankle there. Oh, that is painful. Love is in so much pain right now.
The goddess of chaos.
Just cranking on that ankle. That's a tap.
Oh, and that's a tap.
That's a tap.
Wow.
Damn right, man. It's been awesome because again, bro, that LFC definitely did open up a lot of people who I didn't even know, bro. And like I still talk to many of the girls after the fact. Me and Bella Madison, because she wants to be pro wrestling, so like I would be able to chat with her. She'd send me like some matches and some stuff like that. And I was really heavily pushing Sheena to try pro wrestling, right? But then she got wrapped up in the slap, and she's living back home too. So I I love the amount of diversity when it comes to the mix of people we have in our industry, and especially within this company too, bro. Like, you're very talented. Sean knows how to work with people really well. I super enjoy all of the other things that come in, like oh gosh, like the judges. Some of the judges are kind of wild, bro. Like Trap Gambino, is that his name?
Gambino was one, yeah. Mike the Truth Jackson, was that the one? You know, like,
They're characters, dog,
yep.
and they're really cool people, bro. Like getting to chat with them after the fact, bro. But again, I don't know if I get that without LFC. I don't know if I you know, get to be around these cool people like that. So I'm very fortunate and very grateful that the company has allowed me to keep, doing what I'm doing. Hopefully, at least from what I gather, a lot of the talents say that I'm a pretty good coach. So I'm glad that they're enjoying that. I still have not yet to get to like the event aside from me refing, but because every other event's is something, I'm either working or have a booking. And then this last one, I was in vacation for back home, so hopefully I can get to an event to actually watch them throw down. But I'm excited to see where this 2026 goes. Specifically for me, obviously I'm biased, but I really like to see how Emily's gonna kind of venture with this stuff. The other girls I feel like have an idea of where they want to go or what they're trying to do with this. But M, for me, I think she just kind of WoW just kind of was like, hey, we would like you to try out. So she tried out for WoW, and then they were like, you need to kind of get better training or at least some training. So she was a little raw, but they loved her look. And so she came down to FSW and was like, hey, I want to get some training going on. And then Joe hit me up and was like, can you train her? And I was like, I guess, man. I'm sure. So when I walk in, it's this 95-pound little girl. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What is she gonna do? And then, she's in there and she's doing it. So I was like, okay, and I don't know what WoW does as far as like how you get signed or how that all works out, but she's trying every single time. They've been coming out here to Vegas a lot more, so I think like that's going to open up a door for a lot of these girls. WoW is a great company, bro. Like that's another good company, which they do it right. They have good production. Like I don't know if you saw any of the
I
stuff
have.
that yeah, like it actually looks fucking dope,
It's
right? Like,
awesome. It's good.
it looks fucking good. And so like my boy, he's a bartender down at the D. So when he walks out, he's like, bro, WoW's down here? I was like, oh yeah, yeah. But it looked fucking phenomenal. I was just like,
Great
oh
company.
man, if they can do something with these girls, give them a platform, give them money, because like everybody deserves to make a living at this thing, bro. We all fucking do because it's hard. I would love that, and so when M came down, we were just training, and I really feel like right now she's probably at a place where she could probably do a good tryout, right? And maybe they throw her a something, but up until this point, she's been just taking things as they come, and LFC was just something that I knew Sean, if he saw her, he would be like, okay, cool, but I didn't know if she would be in for it because I don't think she's ever really had like a real interaction with combat. So when she was down about it, I was like, oh, that's gonna be brilliant. And again, I was just very taken back by her performance, and then seeing all of the hard work that went into that week, and then watching all of the fights and the clips that I did get to see. Super impressed with him, man. It was awesome.
Well, I will say this about you, sir. I have nothing but love and respect for you. You're always
Thanks,
welcome
bro.
on the show. Absolutely. Everybody from Remy, from Sarah, from the fighters, from Sean, from everybody. I can even say that I'm blessed to be a part of such a great team, and you absolutely do add a lot to it. So shout out to everybody at LFC. And also with this year coming towards a close, I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a happy, healthy New Year. Same to you, Mr. Remy Marcel. Uh,
Likewise, brother.
Thank you. And before we close this thing out, you are on social media doing your thing. Where can we follow you, Remy?
Yeah, all the socials, bro. It's 86er, so 86ER, and then Remy Marcel. So go ahead and hit me on all of them. IG's probably the one I use the most of. Twitter's there as well. X, and then obviously Facebook for us all people. Yeah, YouTube, Remy Marcel. Please check out FSW, LFC. Check out my boy Mike's podcast all the time. He's gonna have some pretty interesting folks on here. I do enjoy when you get some good guests, man. Like I've gotten to really kind of delve into a lot of your clips that you put out. So it's good to see you're actually starting to grow as well with all of us, man. So I love you.
I love you too, my friend. Thank you so much. And for Remy Marcel, my name is Mike Larkin. This concludes another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, and we will see you in 2026. Thank you, Remy.
Thank you, buddy.
Fight, fight, fight!